Call to order. Notice is hereby given in accordance with General Law 39, Section 23A, that a regular meeting of the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority will be held on Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 6 p.m. This meeting will be held at 255 Essex Street, first floor, Lawrence, Mass. 01840, pursuant of Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This public meeting of the LRA is also being conducted via remote participation. Members of the public attending this meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment. Use the link below. Roll call, please.
Pedro Tejeda.
Here.
Sarah Perez. Present. Ana Medina. Yes. Ramon Quesada.
Present.
Chairman Walker.
Present. Okay, here we go on a new business. LRA Board Review deliberations on selection of developers who submitted proposals in response to the LRA's July 12, 2024 request for proposals for the City of Lawrence owned properties as follows. We have 115 Common Street, map 106, lot 76, 129-134 Common Street, map 106, lot 75, 139 Common Street, map 106, lot 74, 422-502 Common Street, map 145, lot 25, 7 Canal Street, map 121, lot 1, 9 Canal Street, map 123, lot 2, 19 Canal Street, map 123, lot 3, 55 Canal Street, map 103, lot 6A, 261 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 50, 265 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 49, 277-283 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 48, 289-293 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 47, 9 Franklin Street, map 145, lot 46, 205 Essex Street, map 106, lot 14, 209-215 Essex Street, map 106, lot 13, 217-223 Essex Street, map 106, lot 12, Pemberton Park Site, North Canal Street, map 125, lot 28. All right. Let's begin discussion.
We're gonna have over hearing.
I'm sorry?
Public hearing. We're gonna have public
At the end, during
participation.
the portion.
Yes, if I may, Mr. Chairman, this is Octavian Spanner.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Good evening, Mr. Walker and the rest of the board. Just before we begin, there's some information I would like to share. I don't know if Attorney Brian Corrigan is also online. Is he? Marisol, can you verify?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I would like to inform two important things. Number one, today we had a meeting. I had a meeting with the PAC-10 group that is a residential development on Methuen Street, and they have expressed their concerns, or at least their concerns regarding parking on Methuen Street, considering that there are several proposals to redevelopment redeveloping the two city lots on Methuen Street. Myself and the mayor have given them the assurances that whatever project that will come on Methuen Street we will review and look at the parking because they do have a zoning agreement, I think a memo of understanding that the city provides partial parking for the development. So, but that would not be discussed tonight. That is something that could be negotiated. Attorneys needs to be involved. That includes the LRA attorney, the city attorney, based on the directive and direction of both the mayor, city council, as well as you as the board. I would like to also announce that today as well we had a meeting with our Congresswoman Lori Trahan. We have informed her that we will be having this meeting tonight. She have expressed her support to the city of Lawrence, and as well as she was very happy to know that the city through the LRA board have moved forward with these projects. She indicated that any initiatives that comes out as a result of tonight's meeting, she would be happy to join us and join the city uh, and meet with our Governor Healy, and whoever we and also in at the federal level to support these projects.
Thank
Before we begin, or you begin tonight's meeting, Mr. Chair and board members, I would like to remind you of your responsibility to think about the long-term vision of the city of Lawrence. The transformative potential of the city is vast in terms of mixed-use potentials, infrastructure improvements, public-private partnership, and so on. During the lengthy process that you were afforded with a wealth of information to guide you in making sound decisions, tonight, as you deliberate on these proposals, I would like you to think about the urban renewal plan that was presented, the LRA's equitable, compact, and transit-oriented vision, which is on our website, the recommendations made by the CAC, the Citizen Advisory Committee, but most importantly, I would like you to consider the people of Lawrence first and nothing else. This is not about, the investors, who they are or who they are not, but basically what project would fit the long-term vision of the city. I would like, through you, Mr. Chair, to also grant the opportunity to both Mr. James Karras and our attorney, Brian Corrigan, to say some words before you folks begin, if it's not okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you to the chair and to the board. I will be very brief. As we've gone through this process for the last few months, and as Octavian indicated, we've heard presentations. The CAC worked very hard in terms of reviewing the proposals. They gave scores. We provided you with a summary of every project as well as the CAC scores over the last month and a half during the presentations. I do just generally want to remind you of a couple of things. One, the key factors that in terms of reviewing these proposals and the things that I look for in reviewing each one of them was, I was really interested in the developer's track record in terms of their showing evidence that they have the capacity and ability to produce what they say they're going to do. Two, I was looking for, and these aren't exclusive, but these are the key factors I looked at. their track record in Lawrence or at least in the region. Have they done development experience? Do they have development experience in Lawrence or the greater Lawrence area? Who makes up the ownership in terms of potentially owners or investors that are local and Lawrence based? That there is, as Octavian mentioned, the commitment to the urban renewal plan, and there's a focus and understanding of what the general direction of the city of Lawrence and Lawrence Redevelopment Authority is. I was also very interested in financing details because to me it was the sense of if they had the more details they had on financing, the more I felt like that they had spent sufficient time in really thinking through not just the concept but how they were going to implement it. So financing details were very important. And finally, I think in terms of the ultimate uses of the proposals, I want to remind the board is that one of the key issues that both the LRA board and certainly the mayor has talked about is home ownership and increasing home ownership opportunities, particularly for residents of Lawrence, as well as those that will make up the future workforce in Lawrence. So home ownership uses, to me, were really important, and there were only a handful of projects that actually addressed it. Most of the projects were rental. I didn't take away points because it was rental, but I did feel that home ownership was a very, very important piece of it. And when a lot of the projects talked about mixed use projects, and often it was retail first floor, residential upper floors, but I was looking for more specificity in terms of going beyond just retail, but thinking about business development and business opportunities for entrepreneurs and existing businesses in Lawrence. I thought that was a key issue in terms of use as well. So those were the key areas that I looked at. And as you go through these, the discussion on each property, I'll be glad to comment further on some of the proposals, and I'll wait for you to call on me if that's your desire. I do remind you, and I'll stop and I'll turn it over to Attorney Corrigan, that you have a right to create motions, not just an up or down on a particular project, but you may make a motion in terms of a particular project with conditions. Those conditions are up to you, and that could be part of the motion. And then the rest of the board would vote on that particular motion. And those conditions could be in terms of, defining affordability. I know there were questions that came about in terms of many of the proposals talked about affordable housing, but there weren't much in the way of details. So you may want to add that as a condition to one of your motions. It could be that you want to make a motion in terms of that you do a co-development with a local developer. It is up to you to come up with those, and you don't have any constraints. You have the latitude and flexibility to propose what you'd like to propose. I'll stop, and I'm more than happy to provide further input on details on specific projects. I'll turn it over to Attorney Corrigan.
Thank you, Dr. Karras.
Is Brian on?
All right, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for the background noise, if any. I just left an event. A lot of people walk into their vehicles, but I too will be brief, and I won't repeat anything that Mr. Spanner or Professor Karras has said, all of which I think was great advice. I will say this, and this is, I think, mostly for the participants in this RFP and the public. This is a process that we are in the middle of. The RFP was very clear that no rights are conveyed by virtue of a submission in response to the RFP. The only right that's being conveyed tonight, if any, is if the board does reach a decision on a particular proposal, that grants the right to a particular developer to enter into negotiations with the LRA and the city. We have engaged the city council. Tomorrow, I anticipate that we will be sending a letter to the city council stating the results of tonight's deliberations and requesting an opportunity to present the selected proposals to the city council. We've also engaged the zoning and planning boards, all of whom are going to have some say and ultimately how these projects are going to be defined and how they will move forward. So tonight is a very, very important step in this process. It has been, in my view, a great process. The scope of this urban renewal plan is something the city of Lawrence hasn't seen in decades. So if all goes as I anticipate, it will go tonight. And by the way, as we know, it's going to take three votes to approve a project. If you can't get the 3 votes, then we'll have to move on and perhaps reschedule. But 3 votes, if we get those approvals, then we will move forward with that developer, engage in preliminary negotiations, present the case to the city council, present the case to the zoning and planning boards, and begin to move towards defining the specifics and the scope of these projects. So with that in mind, Mr. Chairman, I too will be here to answer any technical questions. But I think that's about all I have to say for now. I'll give it back to you to begin the discussion.
Thank you, Attorney Corrigan. All right, let's get started.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, one last thing, and maybe Brian, you can help the board. Tonight, at least when you have a motion, the motion that you would make or any votes should be communicated as follows or voted on. The motion should be a recommendation to the mayor and city council for a particular project and the location of the project. So it should be reflected like that on your vote. It's a recommendation from the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority to both mayor and city council that company A propose the name of the proposal, location should be accepted as the most responsive bidder for that site.
Understood. The language is important.
The language.
So do we have these defined as the project parcels? So I have to go down each.
So when you look at the first, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mhm.
first 4. If you look at the map on the 106 versus,
Mhm.
but then when you get to the next one, that is.
So the first 4 on Common Street,
And then it's
the second group on Common Street. Okay.
looking at
I don't want to get confused. Let's go
exactly.
through this. Okay.
So
We're going to begin discussion with A, B, C, and D on Common Street. I think that was described as common. Is that common 1? The discussion on common 1 board.
Sorry,
Yes.
Chair, are you going to name the companies at the same time?
Should.
Yes, so that.
Do we have a whole list of proposals that we want in common 1?
Because I'm ready to start.
Well, Anna, why don't you start?
Well, yeah, but you want to say something else, particular.
Not necessarily, not unless we have an opinion.
So Common Street that Eric is doing right now is
Is 115 Common Street, map 106, lot 77. Common Street map 106, lot 76. 129-135 Common Street, map 106, lot 75, and 139 Common Street, map 106-74. Is that correct?
correct. So that's here. Yeah, triple.
So I could say my choice for consideration on that first one. That's what I'm asking.
Right. Did you have two choice? Did you have two?
I have one.
You have one, okay.
So I vote to consider the Serranos.
For that lot, for
Yes.
that parcel,
For
okay?
that parcel. Which is,
The beginning one is
Serrano and Serrano, yes.
They have power to come.
They have
Power to come.
502, right? But that's part of them.
No, we're talking about
So there's-
115. The first
Oh, I'm
one.
sorry, it's 115.
It's your.
Oh, no, that's that one. Joe Amar and.
MD, something?
Yeah, yes, yes. This is the. Okay, thank you.
Start over. Okay. Yep.
To make it easier, that's the one Tripoli, across from
That's
Tripoli,
the one.
across from Tripoli.
That is Joe Amar and the S.
Right.
And 3D.
In Wellbridge, in
No,
Wellbridge.
Wellbridge is the post office.
So that would be Yoamar Yepes.
And Hospital?
Three
Possible, that's right, yes, okay. Joe Amar, possible in
Yepes Brothers.
Yepes, right?
Yeah, it is.
Possible.
It's more than that.
Yeah, no, it was done. So that's it. So possible, I'm sorry, yeah. The Serranos is the other one. Okay.
So Anna, you were correct on the site. We're discussing the site right in front of Tripoli, correct, right? Yes. My vote was for Joe Amar, and if I can get it going, because I think we have to discuss this in order to
Yes.
select through you, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
I feel, we don't have a hotel in the city. We lack some parking in that area. There are many family members that have no place to stay when they come to the city. I feel that will attract business to the local, business community within the downtown. And, that's one of the reasons why I voted for that particular project, or that particular developer. I like the home ownership idea, but I just could not come up with the numbers that could make it affordable for what the YEP is presented. I felt after the information provided and the inflation and everything that's going on now, I don't know how they'll be priced. I have no clue on how to put a price point on those condo units, which clearly I was for. That's the reason why I decided that Joe Amar Group is solving a problem that we have in the community. I believe we have one hotel, which is in South Lawrence, near the Andover, North Andover line, that no one even knows exist. So those are my thoughts on that specific site.
Thank you. Very good consideration. Pedro, did you, or Sarah?
I agree with Ramon. The Sun Public Hotel, Sun Public Republic Hotel, 60 parking places. And we know how the hotel people don't stay there for too long and be in and out, so the city will be able, we will be able to use that as well. And the rooftop, I love the idea about having a rooftop, in the area.
Adrian?
I believe the Yomar proposal is ambitious and farsighted. However, I disagree with what the current needs of the city presents. I believe that the idea of raising the housing stock in the city as we stand and creating, even though independently of what may be somewhat expensive for a price point for about 1,000 square feet, between 800 and 1,000 square feet for condominiums, I believe that Lawrence has to create the framework where we introduce housing stock into the
System.
Yeah, you got price points of $1 million, $1.2 million for 3 and 4s. You got about 750, 700 for 1s, everything in between for 2 families. We do have the need, and right now we have, let's say $2,500 is what's getting us for 2 bedrooms in the city, plus or minus. We do some simple math, even at $600,000 with 10% down, you're looking at about that for a payment on a mortgage. Instead of the benefit of as opposed to paying rent, you have the benefit of ownership. Right. And you're getting into a price point that can be considered, to the degree that I see it at least, within the access of a professional, young up and coming family of 2. So I love the idea of having a hotel in the city. However, I'm of the belief that we need to be able to create a framework for home ownership in the city.
Very thoughtful as well.
So I'm in favor of the YEPA's properties.
I also like the idea of home ownership, but I'm also sensitive to us needing a hotel at this point, especially in that area, this part of the city, the historic part of the city. At this point, I would entertain a motion to present, we take a vote, present our findings to the mayor, to the city council on this particular person. We got to do a motion. Yes. Yes. James?
Yes, I just wanted to make a quick note relative to the price points. There were actually, I believe, 2 home ownership projects for that site. YEP has a Studio 26 design. Both were for home ownership condominium units. The YEPES property did not have specifics in terms of the price points or how they mentioned affordable, but they didn't mention how they were going to make them affordable. Versus the Studio 26 proposal, which, by the way, got a very similar average score on the CAC. They both got 80 plus on their scores. But the Studio 26 proposal with 50 units was very specific on how they were going to make it affordable. And they were going to use the Commonwealth Builder Program in terms of subsidizing and making them more affordable. They talked about some of the units would be reserved for artists. There would be loft units. So I just wanted to bring that up in terms of, for those of you that are interested in home ownership, but are concerned about the issue of the price point and how they're going to make it affordable. Studio 26 was much more specific than the YEPES proposal.
Yes, please.
So, per the chairman, the 4 that put in proposals for this, just to confirm, is Hosable 3D, Joamar Properties, Studio 26 Design, and YEPES Properties. So those were the 4 that we received.
Yes.
Yes. And that is the lot across from Tripoli.
Okay, just as long as we get our discussion right. Well, I think we might have a consensus on this property, on this lot. I'd entertain a motion at this point.
Motion to entertain.
Well, motion to vote,
Or motion to move.
to entertain.
Motion to move. To
Okay.
entertain a recommendation to the city.
Thank you. Can I get a second on this?
Aye.
Roll call, please. I mean, wait a minute. Brian, did I lose him? Well, we have to discern which one we're gonna, I think we have a consensus, or at least we have a vote.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, question.
Oh, you want me to ask a question?
Do you have a question for me?
I do. We are ready to go with the concession. I think we have an opinion on one of the proposals particularly. How do I frame this? How do we have this framed in a motion so that we can vote?
So as Octavian, I think very accurately stated earlier, what the board is doing tonight is selecting one of the developers and making a recommendation to the mayor and city council that that we engage that developer for a specific project to begin negotiations to sell the property and redevelop the property in accordance with the developer's proposal. So I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but I think that someone could make that motion. The essence of it is that you want to specifically reference the property that's under consideration, the developer, and a specific proposal that they've submitted. And then the key language, I think, is making a recommendation to the city council and mayor that we move forward with selling the property to that developer for redevelopment.
We might need to pull back that other motion and mirror the motion that Attorney Kerrigan suggests.
So a motion for a recommendation to the mayor of the city council that your properties, 115 to 139 Common Street, to be recommended for Sign Republic Hotel.
Yep, I think that's everything. Can I get a second on that, please?
Second.
Roll call.
Ana Medina,
No.
Sarah Perez,
Yes.
Pedro Tejeda,
No.
Ramon Quesada,
Yes.
Chairman Walker.
Yes. Motion carries. All right.
Oh, we did it.
We did
One
it.
down.
Yep, 422-505 Common, that's map 145, lot 25.
You want me to tell you who?
Yes, please.
And the three developers that submitted proposals were New Lawrence Development, 422-502 Common Street, Serrano and Serrano, same address, and Wealthbridge.
We begin discussion. Moan?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes. So I'm gonna jump right in. I like the Wealthbridge project because we have two institutions plus a lot of students and also the local community that are gonna benefit from this potential project. We've had Northern Essex Community College that's been a staple in our community for as long as I can remember, for as long as I lived in the city. And then we have the Lawrence General Hospital that without it, I don't know where Lawrence and the surrounding communities would be. So the selling points for me were those two institutions benefiting from having maybe 400 to 500 students live, study, and play and spend their time in our downtown, creating a workforce, creating future nurses and future leaders. That's really why I was sold on that project. There's plenty of parking that comes together with that project, and also just reinforcing and getting those institutions to become stronger within our community, to me is a no-brainer.
Thank you. Anna,
Serrano for me.
okay?
I think their experience, the fact that they're thinking about community and the youth, which is will be a plus for our city. And also they're incorporating the other project. We kind of need to divide the pie, right?
Right.
So I think that Serrano needs to be considered, not only for the experience, but also for what they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they have worked in the city for many years. They have seen their projects from start to completion. So I think that they will be a better fit.
Thank you. Hayden?
Thank you, Chair. I find it, Northern Essex, as a former alumni of Northern Essex, I would find it difficult to not conceive of the need for, if they wish to expand, at least a footprint in the city further than what they already have, with the addition of potential dorms. And Lawrence General Hospital, as Ramon mentioned, stay with the community. The only concern that I would have would be the density of each.
Mm-hmm.
And if the petitioners were amenable to any potential change with that density.
Right.
Obviously, that's above my head in terms of decisions that this fire department would make.
Right.
I'm for the idea of allowing Walkbridge to develop that site with the assistance of ordinances, obviously, in the hospital.
Yeah. Sarah?
I will go with Serrano.
I think on this particular bridge, this particular plot, I'm going with Walkbridge.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
you know that Will Bridge also is together with Joe Amar, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he has already 3 projects in the city. And then we are affording you, we just assign another one, and another one, that's 5.
Right.
So if we're trying to be, if we're trying to have everyone have a piece, not everyone, but more than one people, more than one person, I'm sorry,
Develop the city.
to have, right?
I understand.
To have, okay, I just want us to think about that. I want us to think, sometimes of the dividing, okay, and I can't know.
No, I'm hearing you. I hear.
Because we cannot be just affording the opportunity to just one person, one project. We have many people in this city that want to have a piece of the pie also and be part of the community.
Right.
And we need to think about that and about the ones that are just not, that thinking also about helping the community as a whole, including the youth. So that's why I really want to voice my opinion about this Serrano, because not only we have young ladies that are part of that project
Mhm.
that we never seen before in the city. I haven't seen it. I grew up in the city. I'm a product of the city. So I've been involved and I never seen it before. A whole family, I don't know them from Adam, but a whole family that is involved. That speaks volumes. So we want us, I will, we respect everyone's opinion and vote, but I want us to think about that. Think about the fact that
No,
all the
I-
people here that need to also
I'm sensitive to this.
be part of the rehabilitation of the city.
Chair, just a quick question. A wall bridge leaves surrounds to GC. Right. Also,
So they're gonna.
so
And then
it's
also
a win-win, actually.
keep in mind, this is our first round of development. We have other projects to down the road as we do the next development plan after the 2017 one expires. Can we get a motion as similar to the last one? Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
He's mute. I think he's mute.
He's not? We can't hear you.
Are you recognizing me, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. Just a very quick comment. The Wellsbridge proposal, I thought was a very strong concept in terms of what they were trying to achieve. I do have to caution you though, their level of detail on how that would be structured, both in the proposal and also when I questioned them and we questioned them during their presentation, I felt that there was it lacked any level of detail on how this would take place. They kept referring to market rate units for students, quote unquote, market rate units for students, and that they had an understanding, not a written understanding, an understanding with the college that the college would rent all of the units at a market rate, and that's how they're going to be paid for. I find that I'm not doubting their word, but I found that the lack of any evidence or support on that made the proposal very weak because of the lack of detail. So if you decide to move forward with Wellsbridge or make a motion to accept Wellsbridge, which I'm not recommending, but if you decide to do that, I would suggest that this is a situation where you put in some conditions in terms of specificity, in terms of how this will be structured financially, particularly with the third party of the community college.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For that being said, do you want to, because we don't have a motion yet. We haven't.
He wants to reconsider.
I not necessarily, it's, so I'm in
Speak
favor.
up, speak up.
So I didn't vote, correct?
No. we
This
have not
was
voted.
simply a recommendation
Right.
as to where I stood.
We haven't even voted to make a
Correct.
recommendation yet.
Correct. So with what James has just mentioned, which is something that's very, very important in terms of presentation, market rate for student housing, it's $2,500. I believe if we would discuss this further, maybe not so in this particular setting, so a motion for further discussion on this
Get
particular,
an idea of what those numbers look like.
not just the numbers, but to take into account also Anna's position in terms of the surrounding, and that's viability versus Wellsbridge.
I think that that's reasonable, but even to really reconsider what that will actually mean for the students as opposed to the other proposal.
If we look at it from that perspective, Mark and Mr. Karas presents a very interesting art
Right.
in terms of, I mean, the market rate at $2,527. What does the math come out to depending on each student in each dorm?
Right. Ramon, you have an idea based on what Professor Karras has said?
Yes, I recall that conversation, looking for some clarification on what these units would cost. You know, for the students that will be occupying it. I don't recall them having an exact number. So clearly more information would be valuable, but that's not up for me to decide. I really like the project. I'm kind of sold on it. I've known these potential developers for a long time, and they're respected in the community. So I'll go with what the group decides.
I think that we can ask more questions before we make a recommendation. I think that's reasonable. So let's get a motion to that effect.
We're gonna table it.
We're gonna table it, and we're gonna put those stipulations in the motion so that we're very specific on the questions that we have. That will help us make a decision.
Not to staff, but to at least consider.
Absolutely.
Which is the viability of.
Put it all in the motion and let's vote, and then let's pull back and let's consider it again. All right, so I need a motion.
A motion to reconsider the law 422-502 Common Street
Right,
for a later date.
to get an understanding of what market rate rent would mean for the students, and also the points that Anna brought up in her concerns.
Mhm.
Okay, can I get a second on that, please?
I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Ana Medina. Sarah Perez.
Yes.
Pedro Tejeda. Ramon Caseda.
Yes.
Chairman Walker.
Yes, motion carries. We will reconsider.
We'll reconsider.
Okay. We're on to Canal Street.
Yeah.
Are all these grouped together?
So
7-9.
now we're on 7919 South Canal 01, which that is Merrimack paper.
Okay,
That's Merrimack paper.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 7919.
Ramon, since you're the furthest away, you have a discussion on Merrimack paper?
Want me to-
All right.
Wait,
Well-
wait,
Thanks,
Wait.
Ramon. Finish to,
Which,
and do you want me to tell you who, okay, so.
yes, please.
So By the River Park LLC submitted a proposal. Charles, excuse me, no, I take that back. Sire Group. Delory, excuse me, I'm sorry, Delory Industries, which is Renaissance on the River. Rhodes Consulting Group, Charter Development Company. And that is it.
Yep. Ramon, we're gonna start with Anna.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
My decision on this one is, by the River Park. I love the proposal. And, just like my mom stated before with the other projects, the, individuals behind it are, part of the city. Part of what that makes that city, this city, especially the last 50 years anyway. So, I wholeheartedly recommend and endorse this, by the park, project.
By the river on this particular parcel?
By the River Park,
Yes.
yes.
Ramon,
I love the by the river. I feel that it solves many issues that we have, like an urgent care, like a facility for children, which is needed for athletics and basketball and what have you. Uh, some apartments, some parking, a lot of commercial space around the river. I'm a little torn by also the lorries in industries. I'd like to hear more from some of the other board members, and the reason why, I'm on the fence of which one to select is because they submitted a memorandum of understanding with Roger that basically allows the development to go from one end to the bridge, developing the entire site and, having a tremendous impact on the Merrimack Street. So, through you, Mr. Chair, I would appreciate if I can go last so I can really get my thoughts around this, because I was sold by the River Park and obviously the people developing that have been, pillars of our community for many years and have invested for over 30 years. But the lorry industries is very ambitious, and it's a huge development, and we got to think about the city and the impact that it's going to have on our community. So if I may, you can give me a few minutes and allow some of the other members to go. I would appreciate it, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely. We'll take our time with this. Sarah?
No, you're going.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I received the memorandum of understanding, and as I read through it, it has left me with some questions, more so than I have answers. However, I do agree with Ramon in terms of the scope of the project, the
The
idea
ability to put the scope.
and redeveloping the whole
Right.
aspect of that section. However, I got to take a step back and look at the multi-purpose use behind the By the River Park. The fact that they're looking at solving some very serious needs in this city. I have family in healthcare, and I know how hard it is for them when they get hit at that emergency. Right. And they're talking about solving a lot of really important needs, not just but with providing an outlet for youth. We have the Boys Club, but there's always a need for that.
We have how many thousands of young people here?
And independently of the fact that they're also doing apartments, which is also a concern. The letter of memorandum, I personally would have felt more comfortable with a joint venture in hand. That would have stipulated a lot of the concerns that could potentially come up after the fact. As we understand it, joint venture would have been more defined.
You mean joint venture between the two entities?
Between Farrell and the Delory.
Right.
However, a memorandum of understanding does cross a certain threshold. So I'm torn between both proposals, and I would like for us to discuss this openly amongst us.
Sure. Sarah, what are your thoughts?
Personal look, I like the Delory project.
For that similar reasons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except that the Delories just submitted that MOU today,
That's true too.
and they submitted it after 2 o'clock this afternoon. How much do they want it? I mean, honestly. Today, when they knew we were meeting at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, they submitted an MOU that we've been asking for it for like 2 weeks now.
Right.
Since we met, the last time we met. They submitted it like what, a couple of hours before. Is that respect or disrespect? Do they really want to be part of it? Or do they think that we're
Right.
just going to look the other way? Let's think about that.
So folks leaning towards, is it Delory? Does this information affect what your opinion was before you got this information?
Well, the presentation that we had
Mhm.
gave us a little more certainty than what I see now. What I see now takes away from that presentation because memorandum of understanding doesn't bind two parties.
Right.
It is an understanding of what can be potential. Whereas though the scope of that project is ambitious and would change the landscape of it. The By the River Park gives us an exact footprint of what can be done
Right.
and how they can
Completely
proceed
fleshed out idea.
without any barrier.
Right.
Chair, if I may, through you,
Yes.
one important item that I forgot to, or issue that I forgot to mention is the fact that this site is contaminated. And the developers from By the River Park, they have 30+ years of experience in the hazardous waste and remediation and asbestos and all of the contaminants that are on that site. This is not an easy problem to solve, and it's going to take some time. So, in terms of experience with that kind of hazard,
Got a problem?
By the River Park is by far a lot more experience, and they do it. They've been doing it consistently for over 30 years here in the community, using a lot of the local workforce. So the lorry industries, like Mr. Tejeda mentioned, is a very ambitious project. It's a very good project, but there's some unknown also with that project and that memorandum of understanding. We don't really know what will materialize. We know, or we assume based on the past experiences by the River Park developers that they know how to handle that site, and they're gonna deliver on what they're promising. So I'm leaning back towards the By the River, based on that huge challenge that developers are gonna face on that site.
Understood. Thank you. Everyone going but me?
It said that the letter was received at what time?
Yes.
Sometime after 4 o'clock, close to 4:30.
Close to 4:30.
If you want me to give you the exact time.
Please,
How was the countdown?
thank you.
Ana and Ramon are going for By the River?
Nobody.
Nobody
yet.
is.
No,
I haven't
everyone's-
I haven't make a motion yet.
Well, let's look at what we're looking at. I mean,
Mhm.
Through the chair.
yes.
I think the
Close to
point,
5 o'clock.
I believe the point that Ramon just brought up, and I don't know why he calls me Mr. Tejada,
Because that's your name.
but that remediation aspect of it is something that should be weighed heavily.
Exactly.
Because nothing could move forward
Without that being taken care of.
without that being touched. And a company that brings that aspect to bear should be considered heavily in whatever aspects.
I agree. My opinion is similar to that. The remediation, the leaning towards the opportunity for the youth to have somewhere. I really like the By the River project. And again, these are recommendations that will go before the city council and the mayor. So if we can we get a motion on this? Sarah,
I'll make a motion.
you have anything else?
No.
No, okay. We got a motion coming from Anna.
Motion to recommend from the LRA to the mayor and the city council by the River Park,
Yes.
of the lot at the Merrimack paper site,
7 through 19.
7 through 19.
South Canal.
South Canal.
Yes.
Thank you, 7 through 19. South Canal. Merrimack paper site.
Can I get a second on this?
I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Yes.
Ana Medina. Sarah Perez.
No.
Pedro Tejeda.
Yes.
Ramon Caseda.
Yes.
Chairman Walker.
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Next, we're on to Are we on to
You are on 55 South Canal, Chairman.
55 South Canal? We have the proposal
Yes.
submittance.
Yes. So. 55 South Canal, Delori Industries. Also, Charles Hope Companies, J&D Realty Associates LLC, Sire Group. And let me just double check this last one, and that's it.
We have discussion on this one?
Ladies first.
Dolores Charles, Sire.
So, Delori Industries, which is Renaissance on the River,
Renaissance.
okay? And then also Charles Hope Companies, J&D Realty Associates LLC, and Sire Group.
Ramon has conceded to the ladies on the board.
Yeah.
Either one.
Right. Volunteer.
I yield the floor to Sarah.
I mean, I can go. I can.
You go first, and I'm looking for my notes.
Yeah.
Anna, please.
I think we should consider the Sire Group.
Ramon, Sarah, can you look up? Are you,
Not writing.
all right, Ramon?
I love the Sire Group. They've come up with an idea, with a creative solution to the canals and generating energy for the city, with a partnership on that project with canals that have been abandoned and are lighted sites that are an asset. I feel are an asset to our community if they get remodeled and have beautiful trees on it, and also generate energy and power, for our taxpayers. They presented a beautiful project. I think they can execute. They presented, three good projects as far as I'm concerned. But when it came to that one, I mean, I was sold the minute I heard the ability for the city to make, get a huge return on solving an issue that we haven't been able to solve for many, many years. So my vote is for the Sire Group, and hope they can accomplish what they stated.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too, all the proposals were trending, and however, I believe in the Sire Group as well. I think that their vision for what they wish to do is outstanding. They talk of proprietary technology. They're talking about bringing functional electric grid substation to that part of the city. It would be nice. I think it's just something that, just the idea of the canal again, is ambitious, independently of the apartments. Yeah.
So she's saying, Pedro, is the Sire Group will take care of the canals, which is what the case we're making.
Yeah, I agree.
Say it again. 'Cause I think we
No,
just-
I totally agree with you, Sarah, Anna, with what they're doing and trying to redevelop that whole section
The whole section.
and using the canal as to create a power grid. It's amazing.
That's what I thought.
I'll go with the Sire Group too. That experience, done this before in many different areas.
They got the financial
And they-
to back it.
Yeah.
Not the back.
Well, I think we can get this motion because I agree. I think we have a consensus all across the board on this one. So let's get a motion to recommend Sire
Should to recommend the Sire Group
for lot.
for lot, I'm so sorry.
Sure.
And,
55 South Canal Street, map 103, lot 6A.
from us from the LRA, I'm sorry, to the mayor and the city council
To recommend this
to
proposal. for
recommend
that
this
particular
proposal.
lot.
This Senate group to
Understood.
take care of the canals.
Yep. Can I get a second on this, please?
Second.
Roll call.
Pedro Tejeda,
Aye.
Sarah Perez,
Aye.
Ana Medina, Ramon Caseda,
Aye.
Chairman Walker.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next.
Chair, Chair,
Yes,
we'll take like a 5-10 minutes.
let's get a motion to take a break.
Motion to take a break.
Can I get a second?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Second.
Tejeda,
Aye.
Sarah
Aye.
Perez, Ana Medina, Ramon Caseda.
Aye.
Aye. Bear with us, please, folks. We get a motion to restart the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
I second that.
Roll call.
Pedro Tejeda,
Aye.
Sarah Perez,
Aye.
Ana Medina, Ramon Caseda.
Ya me cambió el nombre, oye. Es Sara.
Ramon?
They just unmuted me, so aye.
Aye.
Chairman
And
Walker.
aye, we're back. We're back down to this next grouping, which is J, 261 Methuen Street, 265 Methuen Street, 277 through 283 Methuen Street, 289 Methuen Street, 9 Franklin Street, and the other parts of the grouping.
So that's one group, and you want to take that first, Chairman?
Yes.
Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to stand up and, so.
Okay. All right.
I'll come back and get you, Pedro?
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta say it though.
Oh, Ramon is recusing himself?
No, Pedro.
Pedro, I'm sorry. Gee. Sorry. Okay, we can get started. We have discussion on this grouping?
So, I tell you who put in for the,
Yes, please.
okay,
I'm sorry.
so, sure. Methuen Street.
Is that the 261, right?
Yes.
261, 290.
So we,
289, 293, and 9 Franklin.
right. So you're looking at 5 parcels, Committeewoman Medina.
Yes.
Okay, so JV Construction and Consulting, Matias Companies, Westchester Properties, just double check. All I have. That's it, Chairman.
That's it? Ramon, do you want to start us?
Sure. So I liked the proposals by Westchester and also the Matias Group. There's about, I think you stated 5 lots in that site. I don't know, Mr. Chair, if there's a way to maybe get these 2 developers to work together, because now that Octavian raised the issue of parking being a problem, that there's an agreement in place with the city that parking has to be provided for the project that's in front. We have to look into that a lot closer. It'd be very difficult for one particular developer, I think, to develop the entire site. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Matias Group submitted for the entire site, and then they submitted for the TD site, which is a lot that's on the, is Franklin Street, not Franklin Street, I'm sorry, the behind TD Bank.
Ramon,
Yes.
it's 11 Hampshire Street and 245, 251 Methuen Street.
So we got Methuen, and then Hampshire's right behind TD Bank, correct?
Correct, so it's those 2 lots, and I can tell you the map and lot numbers are map 125, lot 19, map 125, lot 20.
Okay, yep. So I don't know how to proceed here. I thought they were both, they had strong proposals. There isn't a butter in that corner that will not, not allow, and they also bid the whole entire site to be developed because they'll have that corner. So again, I need some guidance and some help maybe from some of you guys or the attorney on how we would piece that together, because now we have another component, which is more parking is needed for the development. That's right behind. So it complicates that area a little more, or those sites.
Anna?
Yes, please. So what are you trying to say is that we can get them to work together?
I don't even know if that's possible, but if maybe those two groups would entertain that, and the board would maybe make that in the form of a motion. I think the site is big enough, and there's parking that's gonna be needed for now 3 projects, because the project that's already there is gonna need it. It's gonna take some collaboration and some folks, I think, working together to achieve what's needed in those particular sites.
So if we get them to work together, then it's definitely
We
doable.
we can propose that.
We can propose that they both of them can work together. Are they both here? Are these developers here? Westchester is here. How about the Matias group?
Do they, when they put the proposal through, they know about this information that we just learned today about that they have to provide parking for all the building that's already there? They knew that?
No, I don't think anyone knew that. I think it's new information.
That's
You know,
change,
when
that's
the
a big
RFP went
change.
in.
Are they on Zoom?
Okay. See, like that
So-
changed them.
What is his, let's ask him, what's his take on it?
Sir, can you hear us?
Which, sir, Matias.
Either.
So his name is Manuel Matias.
And Westchester is right there.
And Westchester is here.
Matias, eh?
He's on Zoom.
Is he on Zoom?
Mhm.
Well, Westchester's here.
How many parking did I supposed to provide for
I
that
don't
one?
even know.
No,
How much?
They were not calculating that when they did that.
I
Of
think
course.
it is.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so I just want to make it clear that we did know about the parking situation, hence why we proposed not only I guess the lot in front of Pac 10, but we also proposed the lot behind TD Bank, the 245 Methuen Street lot. We're not opposed to potentially working out a deal with whoever the other chosen entity is.
Chairman,
Yes.
can we invite?
Yes,
him?
absolutely.
Yes, please.
We have no idea how many parkings they need, extra they
He
need.
knows, he's.
He knows.
He knows.
Matias, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we have a
he
number,
said it, he
Andrew,
knows.
do we have a number on
Do
the
you have
parking
number,
number?
how many parking?
Come on.
Can we ask him, please? Before,
On the parking stipulation, did you have an idea of what that number was? Of spaces?
Well, on the site behind TD Bank, the 245 Street site, depending on what's allowed, or we came up with an idea of roughly 200 plus parking spaces over there. But once again, that's not accurate given the fact that we're trying to have 2 developers bring their vision together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Sir?
Tim Hooton, city attorney. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that the mayor, when he signed the agreement, one of the things that he said is that each of these sites, no matter where located, if the city had 10 parking spaces, 50 parking spaces, 100 parking spaces, that at the end of the project, the city would retain those parking spaces, plus whatever was needed for the project to go forward.
Right, so it's
So
10,
like-
so it's 10 plus
So if you look at like the Methuen Street lot,
Yep,
there's I believe 112 spots. So there would be 112 spots that would have, that would be bare minimum before what was required for that project.
okay. Professor Karras?
Please note that the two proposals that you're talking about, the number of units differ greatly. The one is for 100 units and the other one is for 40 units. So that's going to have an impact in terms of the number of spaces. The other thing is that, you know, I think this is a planning situation in terms of the parking that's going to be needed in the area. I don't think you necessarily have to vote on based on, you know, the parking issue. One of the things the other proposer, I apologize, the Westchester group is proposing that their units are leased to own. And I remind you again of the high priority for home ownership units. And I thought that their proposal was quite unique, that they were willing to undertake a lease to own situation, which is really a great way to, a partial way to address the affordability issue. So I would prioritize the use and what you envision and the difference between the two proposals, and then let the parking become a planning effort in terms of all parties, what's available, how many spaces available, what lease arrangements to be made, and then ultimately, if the LRA and or the city wants to create a parking structure, how that gets paid for, I think that's a separate issue.
Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Karras.
You're welcome.
I think that one party possibly amenable to working this out.
We're gonna, yes,
We're also willing.
are
Oh,
you,
then that's two.
Yes.
so that was our question, and thank you for being here, so if that's something that,
We are going to work it out and collaborate. You know, whatever the city and the LRA board agrees is the best possible scenario for the city and the people of Lawrence, we're willing to play ball.
Right.
I think the professor definitely brought 2 points forward.
Yes.
You know, it's two scenarios that we're looking at that we obviously did not take into our bidding with
Of course.
with Tech.
Right. Right.
Well, just, yeah, our development didn't anticipate providing parking spaces for users outside of the development.
Right.
So that would be a change. I'm also the guy in the last two presentations that argued against more parking, wanted for less parking, so.
I forgot about that.
Now you need another extra 120.
Strongly believe that the city needs more housing, not more parking spaces. We'd be willing to work with, obviously, the best judgment. What's best for these parcels.
Attorney Corrigan. All right.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
We have parties that are willing to possibly collaborate on this. How do we form this?
Well, again, I'll repeat myself somewhat. The motion should identify the scope of the property in question. So specifically reference the lots. Could have Andrea restate those. And then certainly you're not prohibited from selecting more than one developer to move forward with and to negotiate with those developers. Again, what we're doing tonight is selecting the most responsive developers who presumably because they've submitted projects that the board likes. There may be facets of one project that the board would love to see incorporated into another developer's proposal. So there's nothing wrong with proceeding with two developers here, and conditioned upon, obviously, because the LRA does not have the authority to supersede the zoning regulations. So whatever projects are going to be selected and then moving forward to the city council are still going to have to go through the zoning process, presumably ZBA for variances, planning board for site plan review and special permits as needed. For properties that may abut the river, obviously there'll be conservation commission jurisdiction and so on and so forth. So I think that a motion could be made to select two developers for a particular site, subject to reaching some sort of a collaborative agreement between those two developers, which I'm sure we'll be able to do.
I will entertain a motion to that effect, please. You so moved on that?
So move, to recommend the, from us,
Yep.
and the LRA to the mayor and the city council that 261 through 293, Andrea?
That's correct.
That's.
I can read them out if you want.
Yes, please. Please, can you do so?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay. 261 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 50. 265 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 49. 277, 283 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 48. 289, 293 Methuen Street, map 145, lot 47. And 9 Franklin Street, map 145, lot 46. The other two that were in that grouping, which I haven't stated yet, are behind TD Bank North. That's correct. You're welcome.
So that the collaboration between the Matias Company and Westchester Properties collaborating, working together
On this
to
particular
make, on
parcel.
this particular project, make sure that it's to completion.
Awesome. Can I get a second on this motion, please?
Second.
Well, we got 2 seconds. It's 4.
I go third.
Roll call.
Ana Medina. Sarah Perez.
Aye.
Pedro Tejeda has recused himself. Ramon Casada.
Aye.
Chairman Walker.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you for your recommendations.
Yep. Yes.
We would like to read on the statement that we have, before they leave, so their presence here.
I'll entertain that.
And the document I gave you, Tim Hooton, City Attorney, to the LRA from the Lawrence City Council and Tim Hooton, City Attorney. In March of 2024, the mayor of the city of Lawrence signed an agreement to transfer city-owned real estate to the LRA. This agreement calls for the city to transfer the lands listed in attachment A, which is your attachment, and attachment B, with attachment B after being approved under the urban renewal plan of 2016. It is this office's opinion that the transfer to the LRA, although exempt from the requirements of Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, are not exempt from the city's requirements that all land transfers must be signed by the mayor after approval of the city council. City council takes the position that approval by the city council of the urban renewal plan of 2016 is not an approval of the city to transfer any or each of the parcels covered by the plan. It is this office's position that the failure to obtain direct approval by the city council listing the particular lots to be transferred and the rationale for the transfer creates a cloud for the title for these lots. I believe that that cloud will be discovered if the LRA seeks to deed any of these lots to developers in the future without the direct approval of the city council. Any and all development projects should be informed of the above requirements if they are selected for consideration. And I will state that this board has stated consistently throughout the night that these would be presented to both the city council and the mayor. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for reading that.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Attorney Richie Davis, you know, because I respect your opinion, Attorney. Well, it says the city's requirements, they're not exempt from the city's requirements. Where are those requirements found? Is
that a council vote? Is that a charter? Is it this board?
I can send you that. It's a requirement for any transfer of land by the city.
I'm sorry?
It's a requirement for any transfer of land by the city. I can get you
How was that required to establish?
I can get you whether, I don't have it in front of me, whether it's by the,
I think this might be a separate meeting. As we've stated, we're not transferring anything.
I was then confused, so why was this not part of the RFP? All these proposals, very, I don't represent them all, but it's certainly prejudicial to them that they had no idea that this was part of the whole thing. You're requesting proposals, something you don't even know.
Right. Thank you, sir.
That's very disconcerting.
It is. Thank you. Next, as we stated the whole night, we are presenting these. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for allowing me.
You're very welcome. Next.
You heard that one, right?
Yeah, I did. Why don't we talk about this later?
It
Eric,
was intended to be, right?
Yeah, okay.
I don't
It was.
I don't intend to say.
Next. Sir, I will have you removed from my meeting. Stop. Thank you. Next.
If we go, give it back.
Yes.
Oh, this one too?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
I don't think he wanted to be in for any discussions on the street. Because this is, we're still, yeah, it's
We're still
it's
on
the
that
one
section?
behind the bank.
Are we down at 205 Essex Street?
No, Chairman, we're at 11 Hampshire Street, parking lot map 125,
Is that on this list?
lot 19. And 245, 251 Methuen Street, map 125, lot 20.
So we're on 11 Hampshire Street, map 125, lot 19, and 245-251 Methuen Street, map 125, lot 20. We have discussion, please.
You want me to tell you who,
Yes, please.
okay. So that's the lot, as we've talked about, behind TD Bank. Okay, so let me tell you exactly. So that's the same ones, the same people bid on that as like they did on the other ones. Want me to say them out
Yes,
again?
please.
Sure. JV Construction and Consulting, Matias Companies, Westchester Properties. And that's it.
Can you read the address in the map?
So it's from J all the way to N. I'm sorry? Item J to N, sir.
We got it.
And addresses that you named, the block and lot number, the map and lot number that you stated are not in the agenda.
Right. Brian.
251.
Attorney Corrigan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, there seems to be a discrepancy between the lots and what's on the agenda.
Okay, tell me what the discrepancy is.
Andrew, could you read the?
Sure. Attorney Corrigan, 11 Hampshire Street, map 125, lot 19, and 245, 251 Methuen Street, map 125, lot 20. That is not, that's not listed on the agenda, Attorney.
Okay.
They were part of the group, the Methuen Properties. This is the lot that's in back of TD Bank.
Okay, and these lots were encompassed in both the Matias and the Westchester proposals that were just voted on?
That's
Yes.
correct, and they're also listed in the RFP.
Right. So the issue is that in the list of properties that we put on the agenda, that we missed 2 lots. Is that what you're telling me?
He has just commented and he said no.
He didn't bet on that.
Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't discuss this.
So that was just Westchester.
No, I want to make it clear that Matias Company was one of the only developers that put in for 245 Methuen Street as additional parking to our proposal on the lot in front of Pac 10. So just want to be clear on that.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think what I would recommend, I think certainly the spirit of the board's resolution is seems to be well documented and how it wants the Methuen Street parcels to proceed here. Given the discrepancy and in the interest of making sure that we just have everything done by the book with every I dotted and T crossed, what I might recommend to you is that the vote that was taken be reconsidered and then tabled so that we can. I think we're gonna have another meeting coming up soon because you've already tabled one site, so we could just get this one right and make sure that we're all on the same page, because I think what the board has in mind for the Methuen Street sites is that Westchester and Matias will put their heads together and collaborate with the city in
On the whole
creating,
parcel?
yeah, the entire
Yes.
entire strip is going to be a collaborative effort between those two developers. So if we inadvertently missed a parcel on the agenda, we probably ought to, just given what we've dealt with here throughout this process here, we don't need any technical issues coming back to bite us. So so I think we ought to reconsider it and table it, and then come back and just clarify it with an agenda that lists all of the sites, all of the parcels, and then the board. It should be I would anticipate a very quick deliberation to essentially confirm what you folks resolved to do tonight. So that's my recommendation. Didn't realize that we had a couple of parcels that were not listed on the agenda. So
Yep. So
yeah,
I will
I'll take responsibility for that.
a motion to reconsider the vote and to put in the 2 additional lots into the parcel to be discussed on the agenda for our very next meeting. So moved. Can I get a second, please?
Aye.
Well, all right, roll call.
Ana Medina, Sarah Perez,
Aye.
Pedro Tejeda has recused himself. Ramon Quesada,
Are you muted?
Aye.
Chairman Walker.
Aye. So we will reconsider that with the addition of the other 2 lots at the next meeting. Are we on to 205 Essex Street? Is that 205, 209? Yes.
So, whatever you want on that item, because it's open right now.
Right.
So.
So not to table it?
Right, not to table it.
No.
You gotta go away again. Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion to not reconsider, but to table what we already voted on. I need a motion, please.
Aye.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All right, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Anna Medina. Sarah Perez.
Aye.
Pedro Tejeda has recused himself. Ramon Quesada.
Aye.
Chairman Walker.
Aye. Please notate that that has been tabled. Thank you. Now we're on the 205 Essex Street.
You are
Is it 205, 209? Is it all one?
O, P, and Q.
O, P, and Q. So we have 205 Essex Street, map 106, lot 14, 209-215 Essex Street, map 106, lot 13, 217-223 Essex Street, map 106, lot 12.
The proposal we've received is Oneva Aquino. And previously we had
something else.
We had another developer that submitted Mace contract in. He's withdrawn his bid.
Any discussion, please? Yes.
Concerns for this particular project. The parking. Now,
Right.
Ms. Aquino, I know she's here. And you gave some ideas. I just want to, if it's okay for her to refresh
Absolutely.
her memory, please. I
Yes, please.
appreciate it. I'm sorry. 63 parking spaces. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Does that answer your question?
Mine, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sarah, anything? No?
63 parking spaces.
Pedro?
That's besides what the city already have there, huh?
Because, yes, exactly. Well,
It's besides what we already have.
I don't think so.
Those parking, that include the ones that we already have there, like the city have.
The city has a 22 parking currently.
Okay, so the 61 is including those
Yeah,
22.
including those. I was including all. Thank
Pedro?
you. Appreciate it.
Sorry.
No, any discussion on this particular?
On the Aquino
Yes.
presentation,
Yes.
I think it's transformative. She's looking at adding additional parking spaces where we have yet to explore, which is underground. And it's looking at rehabilitating the property that right now is just parking space. And we have the need for what she's presenting.
Agreed. Ramon?
I also agree with Mr. Tejeda. I believe Aquino presented a well put together project. The parking again is transformative. We haven't done much of that in the city. And I think that we're gonna learn from possibly what she's gonna do with the parking underground. I also felt that she brought a team that's very knowledgeable, and the finances were in place for her to be successful in this project. So my vote is for this project.
I will entertain a motion to that effect, that we recommend this project move forward with the city council and the mayor.
Motion to recommend to the to the mayor and the city council. Mrs. Aquino's proposal.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Located?
Oh,
Located
yeah,
at-
location.
Location.
Sure. 205 Essex Street, map 106, lot 14. 209-215 Essex Street, map 106, lot 13. 217-223 Essex Street, map 106, lot 12.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Pedro Tejeda.
Aye.
Sarah Perez.
Aye.
Anna Medina. Ramon Quesada.
Aye.
Chairman Walker.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next. Are we at the end?
We're at Pemberton Park site.
Pemberton Park site, North Canal Street, map 125, lot 28.
Mr. Chairman, I have to abstain and recuse myself from this project due to a conflict which I submitted and also stated months back in a public meeting.
Thank you very much, sir.
We have two companies, Chairman, that submitted,
Yep.
Sire Group and Ceramad Properties Incorporated, Alberto Nunez.
Discussion.
Fire and ceremony. Ceramic or Nunes LLC? Which one is it?
The name is silent.
Saramad Properties Incorporated.
Interestingly enough, it's a Maris Factories. Forward, whichever
The
way
what?
you wanna look at
Oh, Damaris backwards.
There we go.
Huh?
Nice.
I see.
Oh, I get the.
Anna, anything?
So yeah, Nunes LLC. This is a really interesting project. I think that, it will really put the city on the map, honestly. They're going to develop the whole entire site.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Nunes LLC, which is Saramat. So I am extremely interested in what they're gonna do, and I really like it. So
Okay.
I think that if, yes, that's just something that, that they can do. When they came in here, what they presented, they really believe it in. And I think financially they will be able to complete it. So my goal is for Saturday.
Sarah?
Same, it goes for them. They got experience, they got the freedom that they own the parking lot in
They
front
have
of
good
it.
financial ability.
The financial ability, so I go with them.
Pedro?
I too am going to side with Saramont. Mr. Nunez has been a mainstay in the city of Lawrence, has took a chance many, many moons ago when everybody looked away.
Right.
And he happens to be the owner of a variety of properties located on that island.
Right.
And I just think there's congruence there for what he wishes to do. And have presented a very ambitious and transformative project that looks way into the future to what Lawrence could potentially become. So I side with Sarah.
I also agree. So if we get a motion to that effect, that we're gonna recommend, yes. Yes, James.
Just very quickly, I agree with the preference for Sirabad. And I thought the Sire proposal was strong as well, but I had Sirabad as the number one on that site. But I do want to note that neither one of those developers proposed any or even mention affordable or workforce housing. And not that I'm recommending that it be 100% affordable or below market, but I think, as a condition is that a certain percentage, whether it's 10, 20%, be affordable / workforce, and then the details on how that is financed can be worked out as with all the other projects.
Professor Karras, you have a recommendation of a percentage of workforce and?
I believe that in the downtown urban renewal area, we have one area that it has a 20% requirement that's close to the train station. So I would go with the 20%. There is a precedent for that.
Okay. Can we entertain a motion taking into account the 20% workforce housing requirement for the project?
Except that we came, that during the presentation, he said that he's one of the landlords with the least.
Most affordable rent.
Most affordable rent, exactly. He's like, his rent is
Right.
very cheap, very affordable.
In fact, he mentioned that
He mentioned that a few times.
some of the agencies that have looked into affordable housing have structured a lot of their plans around with this.
Because I do remember that, because we asked him.
That's fine. I mean,
Yes.
but to Professor Karras's point, you can put a number on that.
No, yeah, I'm just reminding us.
I know.
What he said.
Is that a hard number?
It's not. I mean, it's what we vote on here. I mean, I think 20%. Again, it depends on
How many?
what it
units
costs them to
are
build it,
needed.
and what it's going to cost them to recruit.
I mean, that's something that I'm sure he'll consider it. We're the one that need to vote on it.
Right.
But, keeping in mind that he's one of the cheapest, you know what I mean?
Right.
City keeps it like, so. You know, that's something for us to.
To state that, so. That I believe that, the next phase would require a letter of interest on our behalf. Maybe we should include that.
Yeah.
Within that framework.
Exactly. I mean, this is recommendation, so we still have other steps to go through in this process, so.
Right, this is just preliminary stuff right now. I mean, we can come back to have him, he has to consider it once we vote on it.
Exactly.
He like gave some lesson. Once we vote on it, that's it. So that's why I want you guys to consider what he said.
Right. I mean, that's if I can get a motion with that 20% in it, so if you're not willing to make that, then we have to.
The
I guess,
area
start
is not
over.
contaminated, is it? The area is not,
No, not in
No,
there.
not that one.
not that one.
No, I don't think so.
Where's the
It's
parking there? I
only
hope
the
it's not.
Merrimack one.
So do we have a motion or no?
I believe we should entertain a motion to include Mr. Karas' recommendation.
Okay, you want to make it?
How would I verbalize that?
Hmm?
How should I verbalize it?
Professor Karras, could you restate?
Motion to.
I would just add your standard motion, but that the condition that the development agreement include a minimum of 20% affordable / workforce housing units. There should be some flexibility, so that's why we use both terms, affordable / workforce housing units.
I don't think.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Something quick we need to bring to the table. We actually took a vote at the city council back then like 3 years ago. And required by law, that area, or by ordinance, that area have to be 20% affordable. So whatever you guys do, if it doesn't reflect
Right.
that ordinance, is gonna be not anymore.
So thank you for the,
So we're,
It's another area.
so we're in line with that.
so
with
we
the
are,
20%.
yes, right.
Yep.
All we have to do is to take the motion.
But not workability, is affordable housing.
Affordable, not
That's what
workforce?
it is, yes.
Yes, of course.
So let's use that language.
So remember, he's not gonna, he's just gonna rent, he's not going to do rent to own.
Right.
Well, I think with the information that Mr. Rodriguez has presented, any deliberation we make has to be in line with every city ordinance.
Right.
So,
And Mr. Karas.
and which is basically in
What
line
he said,
with what
right.
Mr. Karas is saying.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
which just simply makes sense.
1 second. Octavian?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to remind you that affordable housing includes workforce housing.
Okay.
Okay, so that could be, it's, the council president is correct that it should be included 20% as recommended by the consultant, James Garris. 20% affordability includes workforce housing. So that shouldn't be the breaking of an obstacle for a vote to take place.
Brian, are those terms interchangeable legally?
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I just had to wait to be unmuted. Yes, I just want to clarify that I think Professor Karras and Councilor Rodriguez are both speaking about the same thing. There is a downtown smart growth overlay, which is essentially an amendment to the zoning ordinance that this particular site happens to sit in, and it remains to be seen how, again, I go back to my earlier commentary that there's a lot of work to be done here. We do not override or supersede the zoning ordinance. How a selected developer decides to proceed to obtain zoning relief is in part up to that developer, but certainly the downtown smart growth overlay is an available pathway for developing mixed use property, and it does require the set aside of 20% affordable housing. So I think that whether you classify it as affordable / workforce or simply affordable, I think that you will have accurately stated what needs to happen there, and that would be in compliance with what the zoning states for that particular site.
Thank you. So if we can match our language with what the council president has stated, I think that will help us move forward. So can I get a motion with the 20% affordable?
No, go ahead.
I would like a recommendation by the LRA to the city council as the most responsive bidder to the RFP process for Pemberton Park to Surmont to include 20% affordable housing within their proposal.
Thank you. Can I get a second on this, please? Roll call.
Ana Medina. Sarah Perez.
Aye.
Pedro Tejeda.
Aye.
Ramon Casaba.
No, he's
Recused.
excused.
Oh, that's I apologize. I apologize. Chairman Walker.
All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. That's it.
Are we all done with this?
And we got a lot of work on now.
We can close it for now, I believe.
Chairman, hold on. We're going, so I brought up to you the fact that we should, today, we consider the vote on the Serrano.
Yeah, I mean, we make a motion to reconsider.
To reconsider, but we need to move.
I think we're gonna have to, we have some things we're gonna have to double back on anyway, like the other.
Yeah, the other one.
We'll leave it where it is.
So we have to.
Right.
On the Methuen Street
And
is
then
tabled.
For the tables.
So.
We've got
okay.
two
So we
tables.
had two tables.
We got two.
We got two tables?
Yes.
All right.
That one was tabled.
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah, that's what I say, that one was tabled. and-
So you'll have two.
Serrano was tabled, then.
So we got through 90% of it,
Correct.
okay? We wanna do section 2?
No.
We can get a motion to close this meeting.
Yes.
We have a motion to close the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second that motion.
Roll call.
Pedro Tejeda.
Aye.
Sarah Perez.
Aye.
Ana Medina. Ramon Casaba.
Aye.
Chairman Walker.
Thank you all very much.
Nice work, everybody.